So we're back for encounter. Why did I feel like my mic was really low suddenly? But I'm gonna go away starting tomorrow for about 4 days, so I won't be releasing Purgatory till sometime after that. And yeah, sorry. So we're gonna start encounter. I don't know what it's about, but my brain says Shig. Nope, it's Satoshi. Oh god, please don't tell me we're gonna kill Yuka. Let's see, Tenjin 5. Is that a T3 or is it 33? Mr. Yamazaki's handwriting is atrocious. This really wasn't my day. I knocked over my alarm clock this morning and of course it stopped working. The very last pork sandwich sold out right before my eyes during lunch. And I was roped into a favor when I happened upon a homeroom teacher, Mr. Yamazaki, long after the school day had ended. So now, like it or not, I was on my way to deliver some notes to Miss Yui, our homeroom TA, who was out sick with a cold. I'll have to make sure I apologize to Yuka later. I know how disappointed she'll be that I'm missing our shopping date. Tenjin 523, number 11. Found it. As long as this doesn't actually read 633, number 77 anyway. It looks suspiciously close to that building in not Deathmark. NG. I stopped and compared the memo in my hand with the apartment building in front of me. It was 2 stories tall and looked a little on the shabby side. Probably about 20 years old. It didn't seem very solid, nor was it particularly... Hi. Hi, Soren. It didn't seem very solid, nor was it particularly stylish or chic. It was completely unremarkable structure in every way. Apartment 207, or is that 201? I was really getting fed up with this handwriting. Hey, Justin, and from a teacher, no less. In any case, it seemed certain the apartment was on the 2nd floor, so I trudged up the startling narrow, steep stairs. The metal staircase was thoroughly blotched with patches of rust. Why would someone live in such a rundown apartment building? Because she can't afford better. Junior, are teachers' salaries really that low? I felt a little sorry for her, but in a way, this place kind of fit her personality. With that thought in mind, I turned my attention toward apartment 201. Here we are, 201. Yeah, this doesn't look like Miss Yui's place. The door plate for the room nearest the stairs had a name I didn't recognize scribbled on it. Guess that means we tried door number 2. Passing from 201, I continued down the narrow walkway toward the end. Wandering alone around the apartment building I'd never been to before made me feel a little nervous. Yeah, creep. It wasn't like I was doing anything wrong, but my back still tensed up as I maneuvered around piled up strollers, plastic toys, and bundles of papers. And finally I arrived at the last door. Bingo. This was it. I breathed a sigh of relief. The door plate for apartment 207 read Shishido. For an adult's handwriting, especially the letters are round and overly cutesy. This was Miss Yui's place, all right. What's this? I leaned in to read something written in small script on the corner of the door plate. Beware of cat. Shouldn't that be beware of dog? That's Miss Yui for you. So how exactly does one beware a house cat? Don't let it out. Is it even possible for a house cat to be threatening? At any rate, I'd confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt this was Miss Yui's place, so my errand was nearing to an end. What was Mr. Yamazaki thinking, anyway? I understand taking handouts for sick classmates, but delivering class notes to the home of the absent teacher? That just seems weird. This isn't something a student should be doing. He said he was busy with meetings, though, and really needed one of his students to help him out. But was it really okay to entrust a school student with confidential class notes? Wouldn't it be kind of a problem if I were to read these? My mind kept drifting from one question to another, and I'd become acutely aware of the inherent value of these notes I held in my bag. But tempting as it was, I just couldn't bring myself to look at them. Mr. Yamazaki put his faith in me, after all. And I was stronger than that. I couldn't let this get the best of me. At any rate, I was here. I should have just been able to drop off the notes and be on my way. Putting all my doubts and misgivings aside, I rang the doorbell. And then I waited. And waited. And waited some more. But there was no answer. Huh? Yeah, I'm pretty sure my voice is not like Gordon Ramsay's, but thank you. Maybe when I'm swearing. It did ring, didn't it? Miss Yui? It's not really scary, but it has dark tones. In the first episode, we got someone beheaded. In the second one, she got her stomach opened by ghosts. Miss Yui? Yeah. Speaking of, in the last episode, Miss Yui? I rang the bell again and also tried calling out, but there's still no response. What should I do? Maybe she's sleeping. I don't want to wake her, but I'm a little concerned. When we'd heard that Miss Yui was staying home sick today, we were all a little pretty disappointed. Yeah, I'm adding in words again, leave me alone. It's called dysgraphia, I have a problem. That's why part of me was actually a little happy that I was asked to run these over to her. I figured I'd be able to check in, see how she was doing, and let everyone at school know that she was feeling better. Never occurred to me that I might not be able to see her, though. Miss Yui? Miss Yui. Nothing, huh? Miss Yui, hello? She's probably sleeping, or out at the doctor or something, but what if she were hurt? I tried opening the mail slot and peeking in. I thought maybe I could get a glimpse of the room inside. Miss Yui? It felt kind of wrong peeking into someone's house without their permission. But I was legitimately worried about Miss Yui's health, so my consciousness was clear of this one. Oh. And we've played some of those really badly translated games. Excuse me. Oh, the cat. A well-groomed cat was facing the door and staring back at me. With its head tilted slightly to the side, it let out an adorable meow. This must be the cat I was instructed to beware. And since Miss Yui was always going on and on about her little buddy, I was pretty sure I remembered his name. You're Morit, right? Or no, it's Monette, I think. Yeah, Monette. What a pretty kitty you are, Monette. Miss Yui talked about her cat a lot in class, so pretty much the whole school had heard of him. She had even some tins of cat food hidden on a shelf in the classroom, probably because she bought too much and had no room for them at her apartment. Here, kitty. Monette? Monette, is Miss Yui home? If she's home, would you mind waking her up for me? That's a good kitty. Yeah, didn't think that would work. My shoulders sank, I felt defeated. What the hell was I doing? I closed the mail slot and stood back up. Damn, I sure hope Miss Yui's alright. She's probably just out right now or something, which would mean the door's locked, I'm sure. Lost in this speculation, I placed my hand on the doorknob, and with a quick twist, I turned it and pushed on the door, opening it easily. Huh? It wasn't locked? Crap, that's not good. I can't let Monette out. Get out. Haha, your master is pretty careless, huh? Leaving the door unlocked like that. Monette whiskers twitched as I called out to him from the entranceway. What's that you say? She purrs? What? Ha, you and I are on the same page, Monette. What? Here I was, talking to a cat. Was this what I'd become? What should I do? I was feeling pretty uneasy. Not only had I peeped into someone's home, I'd walked in without a second thought. Moreover, this was where Miss Yui lived alone, in other words, a woman's apartment. No matter how many times I reminded myself that I was here on an errand, I couldn't help feeling that I'd not only crossed a line, but leapt over it. Miss Yui? I tried calling her name one last time, but as expected, there was no answer. So what now? I was trying hard to avoid being too nosy, but my eyes inevitably began surveying the room. The apartment entrance led out immediate into the kitchen, and beyond there was a sliding door to some of the rooms. I could see light through the gaps. I strained my ears, but there was nothing to hear, no signs of life whatsoever. Miss Yui really must have been out. One more time, I tried calling out to her one more time, just to put my concerns at ease. I felt like I'd seem even more suspicious if I stayed silent. Miss Yui, it's Mochida. Still nothing. Maybe she was asleep on the other side of that door. Let's just have a little look-see then. Wait. Shake my head ferociously, I cast out that sudden impulse. That was a terrible idea. Wow, now I'm gonna make jokes. Pure and simple. Entering the apartment unannounced was bad enough, but walking all the way in, opening that sliding door and peeking inside, that was just too much. Man, if Miss Yui happened to come home and find me standing here, I'd be in pretty hot water, huh? No, scratch that. I'd be in plentiful, dead scalding water. Monette mewed, as if in agreement. Panicking, I once again surveyed my surroundings. I almost felt like there was eyes on me, staring with disdain. But of course, nobody was there. Oh right, I can just leave a note. Wondering why I didn't think of this sooner, I dug into my bag from paper and pen. Mr. Yamazaki asked me to come by, that should be enough, right? I'll just use some notebook paper. Let's see, Miss Yui. Crouching in the door, I ran my pen across the page. I brought class notes, at Mr. Yamazaki's behest. Everyone has been worried about you. Sorry about barging into your apartment. Please don't forget to lock your door from now on. As I was writing the note, I sensed a presence in front of me. Until just a moment ago, there hasn't no signs of human life in it, but now I could feel someone standing directly ahead. Standing and looking down at me. Huh? Fidgeting north, I put down my pen, raised my head slowly, and saw a white, slender ankle. Gasp. Shocked, I shot my head up, and there, standing before me, was Miss Yui. Ah! Miss Yui, poor little woman. She got the COVID. in 2015, I think. Was it? When did that game just come out? I think it was from 2015. She was looking right at me, but seemed decidedly out of sorts. God, I feel old. Her hair looked disheveled, her gaze was unsteady, her pajamas were in complete disarray. She was like a completely different person from the usual kempt educator we'd come to know and love. Miss Yui, I'm sorry to have entered your apartment without permission here. I stood frantically and held out the note I'd been writing. But... Huh? Miss Yui was just standing there, stupefied, with a completely vacant expression on her face. Miss Yui? I called out to her as gently as I could, but... she was really dazed. She seemed almost like a ghost. Miss Yui, what happened to you? I had a sudden uneasy feeling. Worried, I walked up to Miss Yui, grabbed her shoulders, and tried to snap her out of it by shaking her. But instead... yeah. This just seemed to make her cough. Cough, cough. Gasp, sniffle, cough, cough, cough. Hey, Miss Yui. These were wet, productive coughs, and spit was shooting out of Miss Yui's mouth with each one. I frantically tried to shield my face from the spray, but my reaction time just wasn't quick enough. Ugh. I put a hand to her cheek and found it thick with a slimy film of saliva. Are you okay, Miss Yui? Miss Yui held back a little, then fell to her knees with a thud. She had completely sprawled out in the hallway, moaning and groaning the whole time. Miss Yui? Wiping the spatterings from my own face, I leaned over and took a better look at her. It was bright red. Strained breathing, a stuffy nose, and a visibly high fever on top of it all. She was sick as could be. I'm cold. Cold? But you're dripping with sweat. It's cold! I thought maybe her sweat had cooled her down, but then realized her disheveled pajamas certainly weren't doing her any favors. With a heart pounding a mile a minute and a face red as a traffic light, I set about buttoning her up. Miss Yui, you know who this is, right? It's Mochita from school. If you're cold, you need to sleep under your covers. Otherwise, you won't get any better. She absentmindedly extended her shaking arms like a zombie, slowly reopening her eyes and looked up at me. It was the gaze of a severely fevered mind. Miss Yui, Tsukasa. What? Tsukasa! Miss Yui was clinging to me tightly. I couldn't move, I was frozen in shock. She began to weep. You've come for me, Tsukasa. Who's Tsukasa? What a lovely surprise. I'm so glad you're here. Miss Yui, wait, you've got the wrong person. Seemed like I wasn't getting through to her at all. And the sensation of her chest as she held me was making it virtually impossible to fight her grip. Get over it. I was utterly powerless against this opponent. I never realized before just how soft a woman's chest really was. Really, because it seems like you grabbed Naomi's plenty of times on accident. God, am I that weak-willed? I had to remind myself that Miss Yui had me confused with someone else. Mustering all my strength I could, I gripped her arms and tried to pry them off me. But she was a lot stronger than I had anticipated and wouldn't let me go. I was so scared, Tsukasa. I was so scared. Scared? I never thought you'd actually come. Flustered yelp. Nope. As she squeezed me tightly, I felt as though my upper body might collapse under the pressure of her softest parts. Let's just get on with this. I was blushing uncontrollably. Miss Yui, please let go. No, I won't. Come on, Miss Yui. I struggled to wriggle free, but Miss Yui only grabbed me tighter. Our bodies were getting more and more intertwined. And every time I squirmed, Miss Yui would just pull me in even closer. Tsukasa! As her chest rose and fell erratically, droplets of sweat slid down into her cleavage. Well, stop looking! I could feel the heat of her fever radiating off her steadily encroaching face, as well as the shoulders I grabbed in an effort to push her away. Stay here with me, Tsukasa, please. I'm telling you, you've got the wrong person. Questions were swirling in my head. Why was Miss Yui crying, and who was this Tsukasa person? But I was most concerned for the state of her pajamas, which had become even more disheveled during our struggle. Miss Yui, your pajamas, your pants. Her butt crack is showing. They're sliding down. Tsukasa, you're so warm. Miss Yui, please. Realizing that not a single word was getting through to her, I sighed resignedly. I'd taken care of Yuka any number of times when she'd caught a cold and drawn a fever, but I don't recall it ever getting this bad. Miss Yui is usually calm, collected, and rational. Who would ever have imagined that a fever could leave her so thoroughly discombobulated? Of all the words I have trouble with, discombobulated is not one of them. Go figure. I didn't even read the full thing. I saw discombob and I was like, it's discombobulated. What the fuck is messaging me? Miss Yui, seriously, pull yourself together. Slap! Put more strength into my resistance, and finally her arms relaxed just the tiniest bit. But her expression changed drastically. No, please. Miss Yui, I'm Satoshi Mochida, not this suit. Please don't go, please. Miss Yui was acting like a spoiled child. I slipped out of the shoes I'd still been wearing. I again drew close to her sprawled out form. There was no way I could just leave her here like this. I sure hope none of this seems too sketchy after your fever breaks. Miss Yui let out a lethargic groan, perhaps in response to my quiet murmurings. At my wit's end, I grabbed hold of her and did my best to carry her into the back room. Gently wheeling her over to her unfurled. Okay, that's an L. I was like, why does that look like an I? I then carefully laid her down, making sure I didn't drop her in the process. Then there was the matter of rebuttoning those pesky pajamas again. I suddenly pulled up her pajamas' bottoms and brushed away the stray hairs that were plastered to her brow from sweat. I'd done my best to avoid seeing anything I shouldn't, but I'm a guy, so my heart was pounding the whole time. Miss Yui's pajamas were soaked through with sweat. She really might have been better off with a change of clothes altogether. But no, that would have been going too far. Wish I could find a paper towel or something so I could at least wipe some of the moisture away. Noticing a convenience store bag hastily tossed to the floor, I glanced inside. Hey, she already bought cold packs. But why wasn't she using them? Jeez. Miss Yui, this might be a little cold, but bear with me, okay? Alright, I think that'll... Oh, kitty! Alright, I think that'll help. I placed one of the compresses on her forehead and pulled the covers over her. Miss Yui appeared almost instantly relieved. She had exhaled contentedly and her breathing became more relaxed. Finally, she was asleep. Even in sleep, Miss Yui seemed to be suffering. You find she OD'd on med. That's how she dies in this world. Oh, Monette, were you worried about your master? I don't blame you. When Mr. Yamazaki said she was sick, I had no idea it would be this bad. And yet he still wanted you to bring her class notes. Monette had curled up on my legs without me noticing it, absent-mindedly speaking to him. He muted in response, and our conversation ended there, as my gaze was still fixed squarely on Miss Yui. So what do I do now? Miss Yui? Are you okay to be alone right now? She wasn't in any condition to respond. But, Miss Yui? Miss Yui's hand had slipped out from under the foot and was gently grasping my pant leg. Hey. Half this episode just Urga was much weaker than before, but I knew I'd probably regret it if I went home now. Miss Yui just seemed really lonely. Well, I guess I'll settle in then. Without disturbing Miss Yui's hold on me, I took a seat beside her. For the time being, I figured I'd watch over her and make sure her condition didn't worsen. Occasionally, Miss Yui breathing would become ragged and she'd furrow her brow. She was in a pretty bad way. Poor thing. Wasn't there anything else I could do? I glanced quietly down at the hallway. I'd noticed when I carried Miss Yui here that the kitchen near the entrance was perfectly neat and tidy. There wasn't an indication it had been used that day at all. I wonder if she's eaten anything. Mozette's gaze shifted suddenly. I followed it and saw pet bowls laid out in the corner of the room. One dish was filled to the brim with water, and the other was piled high with dry cat food. I see someone's eating well around here, huh? Even delirious with fear, she's still taking real good care of you. That's not good, Miss Yui. You should be thinking about your own meals first. I shook my head at the whole situation, then glanced down at Monette, who was tilting his head as if trying to understand me. I broke into a wry smile. When I'd pulled the cold packs, I didn't notice some cheap convenience store food in the bag as well. I guess that was going to be her food for the day. Not exactly the best stuff to eat when you're sick. There's rice and eggs, at least. Maybe I'll make egg porridge or something. Miss Yui, may I borrow your kitchen? No. Her face was bright red, and her half-pained, half-contented noises provided me with no clear-cut answer to my question. Don't think I'm going to get much out of her. How about you, Monette? Do I have your permission to use the kitchen? Excellent, thank you. Monette's cries helped us assuage my guilt over entering a woman's apartment and borrowing her kitchen. Not that I had any reason to feel guilty, I don't think. Anyway, I mean, circumstances were what they were. Still, I had this nagging sense that I should have somehow felt bad about what I was doing. Excuse me, please, Miss Yui. I'm going to need to get up. No. Because he's a good boy. Sorta. That's why he asks. One by one, I gently peeled off each of the fingers latched to my pant leg. The expression on her face changed as I was doing so from contented rest to mild annoyance, but there was nothing to indicate that she might wake up. Alright then, let's see what we can do, shall we? As I stood up, Monette mewed happily and Van tagging along out from my heels. And Miss Yui, now resting by herself in the bedroom, lets out a sudden sneeze. Like me, in the last episode. Book of Shadows, Episode 3, Encounter. Okay, I know that you're making a joke, but funny enough, one time I was staying at an apartment for someone watching their dog, and their system, midway into the stay for their security system, malfunctioned, and the police showed up, and I'm in my pajamas, and I invite him, I let him in, and I show him that I had actually gotten an email saying something might be wrong with the thing from the owner before that, and so he understood that it was just a mistake on the censor part. But I was like, wouldn't it be weird that I'm in here in my pajamas making stew? And he's like, I have seen weirder things. And I'm like, touche. It's like, come on, Yui. Gross, I just got sprayed. Sorry. I've got a real tingle in the nose today for some reason. Honestly. Tissues, huh? Where'd I put them? Oh, wow. Did I get that much on you? Here, use one of mine. It's the least I can do. Great, don't mind if I do. What? She was talking to me. May I have one too, please? Let's see, here we go. Thanks. You guys really should keep extras with you, you know. Well, sorry. Sorry. I don't know how that... I think it was dramatic. Sorry. Honestly. So what were you talking about again? You remember we were talking about what it's like to be seniors now. Oh, I know, right? Can it really just be one more year before we graduate? While graduation is important, don't forget there's life afterward to think about as well. Our careers. Oh. No, I really don't want to think about that. Or there is a reason we've been subjected to all these career counseling sessions. As you can tell, one side of my neck doesn't want to crack. Okay. And it's because our futures are just so big, are just big question marks right now. No kidding, what are we going to do with our lives? It's scary. Any ideas, Yui? You have plans for the future? I think this is a dream. Actually, I've got it all figured out. What? Well, don't leave us hanging. Out with it, girl. Well. Oh, young Miss Yui. She looks like Mayu. My name is Yui Shishido. I'm 17 and my dream is to be a teacher. I butt into the lives of others without a second thought, and I spend most of my time doing nothing important. But I believe that even someone like me can make her dreams come true with enough hard work. Kisaragi Academy 5 years ago. The cherry blossoms in the bloom and the rustling wind carried with it a soft warmth of the season. I was a high school senior now and was devoting myself to my studies in preparation for the day my dream would become reality. And that dream was to become an English teacher. My grades were on the fence for getting into the university I wanted, though. So my best bet was to score a special recommendation from the academy. That was a lucky break. When I got called to the office, I had no clue what it might be about. After school one day, I was summoned to the teacher's staff room. I was freaking out that maybe I'd failed or my grades weren't good enough for the school I wanted to go to, or something terrible like that. But it turned out my fears were all for naught. You have no rival in our academy, they said, so if you keep marking hard... God damn, my dyslexia and my dysgraphia need to stop. They need to stop, okay? So if you keep working hard, we'll be happy to give you a recommendation. Man, was that ever a pick-me-up. I feel like I could take on the world now. I'm going to have to make sure I don't let this chance slip me by. So, this trash can, what exactly is so ridiculously heavy again? Carrying this beast to the dumpster is going to be the death of me. Hey. I turned around, stolen the garbage can. The voice belonged to a male student I had never spoken with before. I'd seen him around a lot, though. His name was Tsukasa Mikuni, from class 7. Watch your step. There's a root sticking out of the ground here, and it's pretty easy to trip on. What? Yeah. Ow. Hey, what's the big idea laughing at someone else's misfortune? Well, it's not funny. Shouldn't you be asking if I'm okay or something? My bad. Oh, you don't have to help me clean up, but you'll get your hands dirty. Don't worry about it. It's the least I can do after laughing like that. Thanks. No prob. That should be everything, right? Yeah, looks like it. Cool, let's go then. Huh? I remember it well, even now. This was my first time talking with Tsukasa, and he left a strong impression on me. It's really kind of you. Isn't it heavy, though? Not especially. I'm the one assigned to take it. Maybe I should... It's fine, really. There, everything is in its place. Thank you so much. You are a huge help. Catch you around. Hey, hold up. I feel like I should do something nice for you in return. Don't worry about it. Your thanks is plenty. Look, just wait there a second, okay? Making a new friend is always great, but when it happens to be Tsukasa Mikuni, it's all the better. He kind of been on my mind for a while. There we go. Most of the time I'd seen Tsukasa before this were in the school courtyard. He spent a lot of time there sitting alone on bench. Even after school or during summer vacation, I happened to pass by, I would always see him there. And after this little encounter, we'd go on to make many fond memories together. Yet somehow the image of Tsukasa that stands out most in my mind is of him seated alone on the courtyard bench. For you, I hope Cafe a Lot is alright. That's in so many games. It's gotta be popular in Japan, I guess. Sure, I guess. Anything's fine, really. Thanks. You know, it's customary when receiving a gift to quietly accept it without any offhanded remarks. Well, aren't we a stickler for tradition? We walked to the bench together, sat down, and began making small talk. The courtyard bench was a sort of mystical place. Right? Where's the dead people? Where's the name tags? That courtyard bench was a sort of mystical place. The leaves rustled over your head, and if you closed your eyes and opened your ears, it felt as though you were in the middle of some forest. And then if you looked straight up, the sunlight poured in through the leaves, and you almost felt like you were in another world. This is the first time I've ever actually sat on one of these benches. It's pretty nice, right? It is. It's lovely. Yeah, it really is. Oh, so is that why? Huh? Well, you come here an awful lot, right? Like, even after school and during summer vacation. I sure do. So you must really like this place then, huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Well, there you go. The leaves rustle as a gentle breeze blew between us. We were both silent for a bit, but strangely it didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable. So, aren't you going to ask? Ask what? What I'm always doing here by myself or something? You're always here because you like this spot, right? Well, yeah. Is there some other reason then? Not really. So what would be the point of me asking? Well, you've got me there, but people normally ask me if it's boring being here by myself, or telling me they don't get it, or saying I'm a weirdo or something. Really? I don't know. I guess I just don't think of it that way. The way I see it, if you like it here, then why not come here whenever you can? As that makes you a weirdo, then? What? Hey, don't make that face. Coming from me, that's a compliment. What? Calling someone a weirdo is supposed to be a compliment? Yeah, you bet it is. I'm not sure why I buy that. You're mean. The expression on Tsukasa's face was a dead giveaway that he really enjoyed talking to me. And I've always loved the feeling I get when I know my words help brighten someone's day. I think it's this background. I can do the blue better. When it gets to this semi-clear background, it gets harder. I must have been sporting one hell of a goofy smile at that moment. Actually, there's a place at the school that I like even more than here. Oh, where's that? I'm not telling. What? It's my special place. Which means I must be a totally awesome place. Then it must be a totally awesome place, right? Yep. Aw, I really want to see it. Come on. No way, I can't spill the beans that easy. Besides, the view there isn't nearly as consistent. Laughing, Tsukasa finished up his drink, then grabbed the now empty trash can he'd carried to the dumpster for me. You treated me to coffee, so please allow me to take this up to the classroom for you. What, are you sure? You bet. Thanks, I'm in class 4, if I'm not mistaken. You're the famous Yui Shishido, after all. How did you... You're that girl who already looks like she could be a teacher. I don't think there's a student in any of the 12 classes who doesn't know your name. What? From then on, Tsukasa and I met at that courtyard many times. We didn't really talk in the halls, but something about that place spurred our conversation. Again? Yep. Doesn't that get a little old? Not really. You drink at least 2 a day, though, right? Hey, how'd you know that? I've seen it with my own eyes. There's a perfect view of the vending machine from here, after all. There is? Yeah, I mean, it's right there. Oh, wow, no kidding. Doesn't matter if it's after school or summer break, Shishido buying Cafe a Lot is old faithful. You should set your watch by it. I'm probably saying that wrong. Well, then I guess we're even, since I always see you sitting on this bench. Wait, you're back on that again? Sure am. I guess I just find it interesting that we both took notice of each other's quirky habits. Weirdo. Oh, I think my delivery just arrived. No, Iris, stop. It's okay. Don't shake the toy in the room, please. Yep. I will be... Oops. It said something. I missed it. My apologies. I'll be right back. Everything starts going on. Okay. It's always so cool here, even in summer. Ugh, don't mention summer. Why? You don't like it? Thank you. Not with summer school right around the corner. That'd be enough to make anyone run for the hills. I guess so, but we're seniors now. It comes with the territory, you know. The time for fun and games is over. I don't know. You seem like you're still having a lot of fun to me. Well, I'm a bit of a special case. I'm just happy because I feel like my dream might actually come true. Oh? I just enjoy teaching things to people and having others depend on me. Why's that? I guess it makes me feel like a big sister or something, and since I'm the only child, you know? Okay, well, good luck with that then. Well, that was about as dismissive a comment as you can get. Hey, not like I can do anything about it, you know? Despite its occasional boorishness, I still felt that Tsukasa was a kind soul. If nothing else, he never actually laughed at my dream. And in high school crowd, most people don't take you very seriously when you say you're trying to become a teacher. Tsukasa just wasn't like most people, I guess. The season was quickly turning to autumn. At the school stay ended, the senior floor was always a lot more quiet than its underclassmen counterparts. Everyone was off studying hard at the library or with tutors, so one day, thinking no one else was around, I sat down in a lonely corner of the hallway. Initially, I had grabbed my shoes and left the classroom, intending to head home, but along the way, I just started crying. I was overwhelmed. My sobs echoed from one end of the hallway to the other. That day, I had finally received a special recommendation to my top choice university. I was so excited, I just wanted to tell someone. So I told my friend Tomoe, but her usual supportive demeanor took on a somewhat harsher edge. Quit rubbing it in my face. You know I'm still not totally undecided about my future. My expression must have changed pretty drastically. I suddenly white and she quickly apologized. So I smiled and told her I didn't care. That's what I said anyway. But how couldn't I care? Tomoe's dismissive words struck me like a dagger to my chest. I'm so insensitive sometimes. I wonder if everyone else feels the same about me. I kept wiping the tears from my eye, only for new ones to take their place immediately. Why didn't I think of this sooner? So many people were still facing an uncertain future with no real goals in mind, and I was completely oblivious of it. I was on with a dream, running around like the cock of the walk and blabbing about my successes and aspirations. I wouldn't blame them if they hated me. Could someone that insensitive to the feelings of so many other people really become a teacher? Did I even have what it takes to begin with? Shishido? Excuse me. A little dramatic. I quickly turned around toward the voice that called out to me and found Tsukasa standing there. We never said a word before when passing each other in the hall, but he spoke to me that day with no reservations as if we were old chums. Tsukasa, your face is a mess. Do you have a handkerchief? Yeah. Then wipe your face. Okay. Tsukasa's confusing was clearly written on his face. I didn't want to cause him any trouble or worry him, so I began frantically wiping my tears. Did something happen? No, everything's fine. You're crying an awful lot for someone who's got no problems. No, it's just there was a little misunderstanding between a friend and I. But we patched up right away, so it's all right, really. There are, something like tears of happiness, I guess. Yep, see, I just found out I got that recommend. I'm not sure if I did it out of respect for Tsukasa or just because I wanted to change the subject, but I cut myself off mid-sentence. I was doing it again. What was I thinking? Now even Tsukasa was going to hate me for being a braggart? Hell, I hated myself. I was the worst, just the worst. But, whoa, really? He was happy for me. A bit taken aback, I nodded firmly. You did it then, congrats. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. So what's with the waterworks? Even with the recommendation, you still have to take an entrance exam, right? Yeah. So isn't it a little early to be crying tears of joy? Yeah, maybe so. I was just really happy that you congratulated me. Oh, come on now. Sorry. For what? For crying like this without even knowing why? If you don't know why you're doing it, then how about you hurry up and dress those eyes? Sure, I think I'm fine now anyway. I swear. As I rubbed my swollen eyes, a smile broke through and Tsukasa let out an exasperated sigh. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, his eyes lit up. Oh hey, wait here a sec. Okay. Run. Tucker ran into his classroom, quickly reappearing in the hall again just a moment later. He was holding something. Here, I want you to have this. A pencil? I thought it was going to be a cafe latte. And his outstretched hand rested a short, stubby little pencil, not the sort of thing you'd expect someone to go out of their way to lend you. It was poked here and there with small scratches. Pocket. But it still seemed to be in relatively decent shape, considering how obviously well worn it was. A pencil for guaranteed success. Guaranteed success? Use it on your test and you'll pass for sure. What, really? Yep, they told me I'd never pass the entrance exam for Kisaragi Academy, but well, here I am. I owe it all to this pencil. So this is the same pencil you were using back when you took your high school application tests? Sure is. It really jerked out a miracle. I assume you mean worked out a miracle, right? Not that that's a thing either. Yeah, that's it. At any rate, I shall happily take you up on your kind offer, thanks. But listen, I'm only lending it to you until you've finished your test. You'll have to give it back afterwards so I can use it for my entrance exams. Okay. Whatever you do, don't fail the exam. Right. I got a pencil. I took the pencil and nodded, smiling. This time, Tsukasa returned my smile. You're a really unique person, you know. It's hard to believe how much you let other people's problems get to you. You'll make an amazing teacher. What? For a moment, I had no idea what he was talking about, but then it hit me. Tsukasa had somehow sussed out from my conversation that I was crying because I'd upset Tomoe. And he was turning that fact around to offer me encouragement. Good luck. Don't let it get to you. I don't know. Flutter. I'd heard you shouldn't wish someone luck in times of stress, as it just adds more pressure. That's why people tell actors to break a leg instead. But I didn't care, taboo or no. I cherished his kind words. I'll do my best, Tsukasa. Glad to hear it. That's when I really started to fall for him, but it didn't seem like he noticed, and there wasn't really any indication that he felt the same way anyway. Oh, poor baby. I can still clearly recall the events that day even now. It was October, the day before my entrance exam. The weather outside had been miserable since morning, and visibility was all but non-existent. It would be a bad omen if I were to slip and fall on the day before the exam, so I decided I'd wear boots to school just to be safe. See you later. Huh? When I opened the door, I was shocked to see a white-haired old woman lying on the ground, soaked to the bone. I frantically rushed over to her side. Are you okay? Stay with me, come on, tell me what happened. Was it a hit and run? The road running by my house was narrow and mostly used only by our neighbors. But it's not like it was closed off to outside traffic or anything, so a hit and run wasn't out of the question. I looked over the old woman's body as best I could. Fortunately, there was no signs of any serious injury. Doesn't seem like a car accident, at least. Young lady. Yes? You must not go to school today. What? You absolutely must not go. Huh? The old woman raised herself up slightly and spoke hoarsely. From the tone of her voice, she seemed terribly desperate. But I have to. Today is my last chance to practice for the college entrance interview. No, just stay home, don't go. I have to go. The interview is the part of the exam I'm worst at. Gasp. Please tell me what's wrong. Where's your family? Will you go no matter what? Yeah. In that case, please. Not knowing what to do, I nodded apprehensively as the old woman began digging through her pockets. She produced what looked like a crumpled scrap of paper. As she was digging around, I noticed that her breathing had become dangerously ragged and began considering my options to assist her. Really, I should have gone back into the house and called my mom, but there was something about her that kept me glued to the spot. I sensed desperation hiding in that unbroken gaze. You must take this. What is it? A charm. A charm? The old woman clutched my wrist and forcibly pressed the scrap paper into my palm. Tilting my head, I unfolded the scrap and looked carefully at it. At first I thought I'd just been handed a piece of trash. What? When I unfolded all the way, I saw that it was actually a paper doll in the shape of a human being. And there was a name written on its torso. Yui Shishido. Yes, my name, written plain as day in easily legible brushstrokes. Why is my name on it? So it can protect you. Huh? If you don't write the name of the person you wish to protect, the charm won't work. Crazy, this was all crazy. I didn't understand any of it, save for one simple fact. This old woman was here specifically to give me this strange paper charm. As far as I was aware, we were total strangers to one another, but she clearly knew both my name and my address. No. I'm sorry, I know you came a long way to give this to me, but I don't want it. You don't want it? As I extended my arm to return the paper doll, I could sense her entire demeanor had changed. She raised her body up unsteadily from the wet asphalt. Why not? Well... I've nearly killed myself bringing this to you. Why will no one listen to me? You must not enter Heavenly Host Elementary without this charm. Heavenly Host Elementary? Yes, you must not go. Don't go. As the old woman cried out, the paper doll fluttered lightly to the ground. Almost instantaneously, it became soaked through with rainwater. My name began to run and quickly turned into an illegible black smudge. Seeing this, the old woman grabbed and tore at her hair. No, the charm, the way out has been lost. Ma'am, please calm down. Listen, you must not go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I think there's been some mistake. My school is Kisaragi Academy High. I've never heard of Heavenly Host Elementary. Here. Wretch hack cough. Ma'am. Wretch gasp cough. Oh God. Mom, come quick. What's wrong? An old woman collapsed in front of the house. Call an ambulance. Okay. Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes. The old woman seemed to be unconscious by that point, however, so the EMTs brought out a stretcher. Do either of you know this woman? No, she just collapsed in front of our house. We've never seen her before. Alright. Would you be willing to ride with her in the ambulance? The idea of making this old woman go to the hospital by herself just seemed like it would have been a shameful thing to do. Sure, she was a stranger, but she'd had a lengthy conversation mere minutes before, so I couldn't very well say we had nothing to do with anything. Yui, you need to get to school. What? But don't worry, I'll go with her to the hospital. You have to practice for the interview today, right? Yeah, I guess I do. Thanks, Mom. I'll leave her with you then. Good luck. I was a little hesitant, but I knew I really had to go to school today no matter what. So I left the strange woman in my mom's care and, heading towards school, walked right by her stretcher. Suddenly, a hand rose from the limp form of the old woman and grabbed my skirt. Startled, I tried to jump away, but found myself ensnared by her terrible bloodshot eyes. You must not go. After school, once my final practice interview had concluded, I reunited with my friends and engaged in the usual regimen of gossip and small talk. Can you believe that? It's really scary. What the hell was wrong with her? When I had described the events of the morning, everyone's eyebrows rose. They were hanging on my every word and yelping in unison at key moments. Yui, maybe you should have stayed at home today after all. Well, but I had that practice interview. I couldn't miss that, you know? I just hope nothing bad happens. Oh, come on, what could have happened? Oh, you know what? When you mentioned Heavenly Host Elementary, I thought it sounded kind of familiar, and I just realized why. You know the Seven Wonders, right? 7 Wonders? You mean those urban legends about Kisaragi? Yeah, those. Does Heavenly Host Elementary have a connection to them? My post-nasal drip is running, sorry. One of the stories is called Yoshie After School. Ever heard of it? Definitely not. I never heard of it either. What's it about? Well, it takes place at Heavenly Host Elementary, which once occupied the same plot of land where Kisaragi Academy now stands. Oh, okay. It said that one day after school, a female teacher who had been patrolling the grounds slipped and fell down the stairs and died. No, she was nearly raped by the principal, and she tripped because of him. The accident took place on a rainy October day, just like this one, and occurred just after 7 at night. And supposedly Yoshie still appears on days like this. Ever unaware that she died at the Heavenly Host these many years ago, she now walks the halls of the Kisaragi Academy, believing them to be her own. Oh, come on, no. Is it true? Well, it wouldn't be one of the 7 wonders if someone hadn't actually seen it happen, right? It's really creepy. Why don't you head home, Yui? You're the only one who doesn't live nearby, so we can't walk with you. And given the stuff that old woman said to you, yeah, it's always best to heed the warnings of the elderly. You might be right. I'm still feeling kind of on edge. Probably best I go home and check in with Mom. I'll see you guys later, then. Bye. See ya. Take care. Give it everything you got tomorrow. I will. I quickly packed up my things and rushed out the classroom. It was already about 5. It was getting dark out, but if Kana's story was to be believed, I had until 7 before anything bad might happen. As I continued wending my way down the corridor, I just kept telling myself there's nothing to be afraid of. Even so, it felt like it took an extra long time to reach the shoe lockers. Man, I'm just such a scaredy cat. Oh, hey, Shishido. To casa. Heading home? Yep. What's with the big grin? It's nothing. Hey, why don't we walk together at least part of the way? Sure, I don't mind. Great. Then I looked at Tsukasa's face. My fear vanished. If but for a moment. These are the times when it's really nice to have boys around, I thought. I felt that as long as he was by my side, nothing bad could happen. Didn't hurt that I had a crush on him, of course. Is he gonna get hit by a car and die or something? The rain had let up since the morning, though it was still coming down. The two of us walked side by side, umbrella held high. Tsukasa was talking and laughing excitedly the whole time, whereas I probably came off as preoccupied. I'm sure it was awkward. A vague sense of fear fickled inside me, and it was making me extraordinarily self-conscious. I'm certain it must have been reflected in my behavior. Shishido? You look kind of pale. Did something happen? Hey. Yeah, something scary happened. Something scary? I probably seemed really on edge. Tsukasa was staring at me with this look of abject concern on his face. I bet it was Miss Yui. I was a little relieved that he asked, though, and it felt good to tell him about what happened. I filled him in on all the details and explained how they related to Kana's ghost story. I did the absolute best to convey the dread I was feeling. But Tsukasa was, well, the seven wonders of Kisarage high, huh? Yeah. So you actually believe in that stuff. Sometimes I wish I could see the world through your eyes. What? You don't think it's scary? It's weird, sure, but I wouldn't call it scary, and I wouldn't worry about what that old woman said to you. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. But wouldn't it be better not to dwell on it either way? I mean, yeah, your encounter with her sounds like it was kind of unsettling, but she was probably just a little off, you know? That's not the issue here. Huh? I wasn't asking you to solve my problems for me. Look, I just wanted to vent, okay? I just wanted you to listen. What do you mean? That's what I've been doing. No, not like that. I don't get it. Are you angry about something? Guys always do this. It varies from person to person, of course, but guys inevitably jump right into looking for solutions to your problem or giving you advice on what to do. As a result, girls often can't be totally honest with them, or don't want to be, at any rate, and are forced to just bottle up their feelings. I only wanted Tsukasa to share in some of my fears. If he were scared with me, that would have been enough. I didn't realize then that Tsukasa telling me not to worry about this was his way of showing concern. I just thought he was brushing me off, and frankly that annoyed me. Everybody does it. My mind flashed back over and over again to the face, the eyes, and the hoarse voice of that old woman. Amplified and distorted by the ghost story, these images gradually darkened my mood. Maybe I was traumatized by the events I'd experienced, or maybe I was just frustrated and needed to lash out. I don't know. But for the first time ever, things had become decidedly uncomfortable between the two of us. Okay, well, this is me. Right. Shishido. He called out my name as I abruptly walked away. I didn't really know why I was so angry or confused, but I did notice that his voice was tinged with concern. If anything should happen, feel free to contact me. I considered turning back for a second, but changed my mind and pushed forward in a huff, leaving him behind. I'm home. Yui, welcome back. Greeting at the door, my mother wore a somber expression. I could tell right away that something had happened. I stared up at her scrunched eyebrows for an awkwardly long time before she eventually reluctantly opened her mouth to speak. About the old woman from this morning. Yeah? The hospital conned me. She passed away a short while ago. No! I'm so sorry. You need to stay focused on tomorrow's exam, though. Well, then you shouldn't have told her yet. Yeah. We should do something. Okay, I'll be in my room. I'll call you. I watched my mom work her way back to the kitchen, then wriggled out of my shoes. My mood had darkened even more. Tsukasa's attitude was bad enough, but for that old woman to have died. Returning to my room, I couldn't muster any energy to do anything but collapse to my chair and sprawl out on the desk. You must not go. The last thing the woman had said to me echoed again and again in my mind. I began wishing I'd taken her more seriously. I should have accepted the paper doll and thanked her. I should have reassured her I wouldn't go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I mean, this place didn't even exist anymore, for goodness sakes. I was exhausted. It was a hell of a day and no longer even had the energy to move. I needed to change out of my school clothes, but still sprawled out over the desk, my eyelids drooped and closed. I was out. The old woman died. Good luck on your exams tomorrow, darling. Oh, that was my wrist. I woke with a start. The air in my room had gotten notably cooler, and I was shivering. I must have fallen asleep. Rubbing my eyes, I glanced at my clock, and the needle indicated it was 6:45. It's already this late? It's not too late. It was 5 when you left school. You walked home, you chatted with someone, you got in a fight, you went to your mom, and you slept maybe an hour. Maybe an hour and 20 minutes. It was a black outside my window, streaked with lines from the still pouring rain. Sure hope it's sunny tomorrow. Sunny for my exams. The weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I'd practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, but I was still really nervous. Okay, I need to make sure I'm ready for tomorrow. There was still a little bit of time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I wouldn't need tomorrow from clean all the notes and textbooks I wouldn't need for tomorrow from my bag. Let's see, student ID needs to stay, obviously handkerchiefs and tissue. Gotta make sure I don't forget my exam ticket. Oh, and my pen case. Huh? Oh crap, where's my pen case? Did I leave it at school? My face suddenly went pale. Really, I shouldn't have been too concerned over writing implements. We had tons at home. But the case held the pencil that Tsukasa had given me for a guaranteed success on my exam. I have to go get it. Hey, Mom, I forgot something at school. I'm going to run back for a sec. What? But dinner's almost ready. That's okay, I'll come right home. Alright, it's still raining, though, so be careful. I will. That pencil was one thing I absolutely needed to bring with me to the test, and so, without hesitation, I ran down the road to school. I was sprinting as close to full speed as I could to get with it without slipping in the downpour. All the while, the numbers of my bedroom clock ran through my mind. 6:45, and if Kana's story was to be believed, Yoshie haunted the school building at 7. As soon as I arrived at the gate, I glanced up at the large clock adorning the schoolhouse. It was now 6:55. Yoshie after school. I went over the whole scenario in my head again. As best as I could recall it. After classes, on a rainy day in October 7 at night. Did the old woman somehow know this would happen? Get a hold of yourself, Yui. It's just some old campfire tale. I was talking to myself, reprimanding myself in an effort to quell the fear that was welling up in the pit of my stomach. There wasn't a soul to be seen on the grounds. By this time, the students had all gone home. I wondered if any teacher were still around. Fortunately, the lights were all still on, and it was bright, even though it felt confident. Fortunately, the lights were all still on, and it was bright enough that I felt confident I could make it to the classroom without freaking out. Okay, I'll just run up, grab the case, then come right back down. I folded up my soaking umbrella and left it on the rack by the entrance, and changed into my indoor shoes. Then, entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around. Guess I was right, nobody's home. Why did they leave the doors open? My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. But maybe Japan does it different. Ordinarily, the din of the other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at the late hour. I need to hurry, it's almost 7. I nervously sauntered towards classroom 3-4, picking up speed as it occurred to me to do so. About that old woman from the morning, she passed away a short while ago. It's said that one day after school, a female teacher had been patrolling the grounds, slipped and fell down the stairs and died. The accident took place on a rainy October day just like this one. It occurred just after 7 at night. And supposedly Yoshie still appears on days like this. Ever unaware that she died at Heavenly Host these many years ago, she now walks the halls of Kisaragi Academy believing them to be her own. Jeez, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I letting this bother me so much? Tsukasa was right. I shouldn't dwell on this. Star Wires. Lightning, flash, and thunder resounded to the impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself. I just need to hurry up these stairs, grab the pen case, and get the hell out of this creepy building. No ghost should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright lights. I absolutely need that pencil for tomorrow's test. It's my good luck charm after all, and it's Tsukasa's. I picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for room 3-4. It's okay, I'm okay, Iris. She turned her head, she stretched as far as she could to look at me like, you gonna live, woman? The middle school has already pitch black. I guess there really is no one else around right now. The middle school? I thought it was a high school. Your soul for a pencil, deal or no deal? No deal. The middle school is already... If someone didn't know I had a dog and just watched my videos randomly, I don't know, you just seem to go to the floor randomly. Oh, I did it one too many times, didn't I, boo? My sweet child. You're such a good girl. My sweet child. Okay. And this hallway feels longer today. This hallway feels longer today than it ever has been before. Was it always like this? Can't imagine I'd ever been on time for work. Iris picked up her toy and just flopped it down on her bed. Yeah, my turrets, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't calling you, babe. I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway towards my goal, jumping every now and again whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kisaragi Academy was so compromised of both a middle school and a high... There we go. And this evening, it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. Didn't help that my classroom was in the high school, okay, this makes more sense, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much farther away. Wow, your breath stinks, girl. When a building that's usually so full of life goes completely quiet, it becomes such a lonely place. I swear I can hear every drop of rain. I was focusing on the scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a faint noise as someone playing an organ. That was just my imagination, right? I mean, it had to be. There's no way anyone would still be here practicing, right? I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It was probably the sound of the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. It just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again, this time much more clearly. It was unmistakable. No way. I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding as if it were struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip. It's probably just some devoted member of the band, or a teacher who's working late. I'm just being stupid. Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have stayed late to practice, that's all. I can't get that damned ghost story out of my head. I took another deep breath and tried again to calm my overly jittery nerves, and it can be scary if you think it is. I'd heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. And my imagination was most definitely running wild. I'm almost there. I might as well sprint the rest of the way. I decided to dash towards my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. Finally, reaching that familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the lights. Alright, I made it. Now I just have to be absolutely certain I don't leave here without the pen case again. Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out over thunder and lightning, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. 7 o'clock, huh? It was the appointed time when the ghost of the teacher was supposed to appear, at least according to school legend. No undead educators here, but I'm here! I let out a sigh. Ignore me. I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. The lights were on both inside the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. The 7 wonders aren't real. I grabbed the pen case I'd come back for and shoved it into my pocket. Okay, mission accomplished. With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating. Such a strange feeling, being alone in a classroom like this. I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to do, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard. Chances like this don't come around too often, after all. To me, the area behind that podium from which teachers conducted their lessons was like a sacred space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day, and could hardly resist its pull when present with a rare opportunity like this. Well, no one's looking. To my classmates, this would seem like such a silly, stupid dilemma. But that didn't change the way I felt at that moment. Should I or shouldn't I? Stand at it, you bitch. How can I pass this up? It's a chance to feel like a real teacher. I decided I had to try it. During the daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times. Watch this be how she dies. But this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand there and preside over the classroom. So this is how it looks to a teacher, huh? It's kind of awe-inspiring. Getting a teacher's point of view in the most literal sense was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This is where all my dreams would play out. Someday. I began to imagine the future that awaited me, painstakingly detailing some new place of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks, gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies. I sure hope I can make the cut one of these days. I was getting so excited that even I began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was a juxtaposition of these joyous free visions and the pricking dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in a blink of an eye, one of these two conflicts of emotions completely overpowered the other. Oh shit. Crap, is this a blackout? Suddenly my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. She might die. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud. What awful timing. I instantly grabbed hold of the rail where the erasers sat. I felt chalk dust against my fingertips. My panic heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me. And what's more, I can still hear the sound of the organ. But no, it's an electric organ. How is that even possible with no power? You must not go. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? That's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic, so far as I'm aware. How could she possibly have known this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or a psychic predicting the future in the stuff of science fiction, I shook my head. I need to calm down. Maybe it's just the swing that lost power and the music room is still okay. That seems plausible, right? I curled my chalk-dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk some sense into myself. I've got to get out of here. I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in and out by now. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. I'd spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out of it with my eyes closed, as if it were. But sadly, this wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing on the other desks around me for support. Oof. Damn it, sounds like I knocked a lot of stuff out of that desk. Guess I'll need to put everything back. Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes and textbooks and writing utensils. I can't tell what's what. This is so embarrassing. What the heck am I doing anyway? Wasn't I supposed to be hurrying home? I'm such a klutz. Let out a sigh. I seem to be doing that a lot lately. Okay, this is a textbook and this is a notebook, right? I was trying to take inventory of all the things I'd knocked out of the desk and realized, why? I might as well just stand it up and stuff it all back in. I couldn't possibly organize it properly in absolute darkness, but just to apologize tomorrow to whoever sits here. Not that it was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that would be the same as lying as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that. Okay, I think I got everything. I placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. And I found something. All right. Ew, gross, what is this? It's all slimy. Ugh. I'd clearly brushed my finger across something, but I had no idea what. It was no notebook or writing implement, though, that's for sure. Why would anybody have something like this in their desk? Maybe I had been on the floor all along. What is this stuff? I rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into the wet spot, then brought my hand up close to my face so I could get a better look at what was there. What on earth did I touch? There's a flash of lightning almost immediately, joined by a roaring thunderclap. And with it, a split second, the pitch-black classroom was lit up by a bright as day. God, is that blood? I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I'd gotten a very good look at my fingers, and it really did seem as if they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand, no, it was my peripheral vision were to be trusted. It looked like the entire classroom was stained a deep crimson. Crap, it kind of smells like blood in here, too. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did something stumble in here injured? This isn't possible. It can't be. I mean, how? My whole body was quaking, and I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee. What? Why won't it open? No, please, no. I don't remember locking it, and it isn't locked. Why can't I get it open? I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it wouldn't budge. Why, please? I was absentmindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slamming my fist on a nearby desk with the other. This was a nightmare. Please, no, what is going on? Then it saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart. Calm down. I have to calm down. I'm probably just panicking because the door won't open. I'm sure I just misidentified whatever that is on the floor. I mean, it's preposterous, right? There's no way something like that could be. I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, I'd end up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes. It has to be it. Yeah, I probably just brushed against somebody's paint for art class or something. My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking. And the door probably just had something caught in it. That's all. I decided to check on that hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determined if anything was jutting out from the crack. Damn, not sure I can do this without being able to see. I fumbled around the gaps in the door, but I just couldn't make anything out that would be doing this, and the classroom's rear exit seemed whirled away. Maybe there's another way out of here. No, this was the third floor. I couldn't get out of the classroom without exiting into the hallway. Let me out. I want out. So at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window. The glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source. Is somebody out there? Then there came a distinct clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps. Oh, of course. It must be the custodian. I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I was sure he must have taken a look around after the sudden power outage. Great, I'm saved. All at once, my fear-addled legs regained their strength, and this nightmare would soon be over. Excuse me! I shouted to the custodian through the window as loudly as I could muster. Excuse me, I'm trapped in here! I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again. Finally, I could see the light of the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However, something's not right about this. Perturbed, I took a step away from the window. If that's a flashlight, shouldn't it be brighter? It kind of looks like the faint, unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits. was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it also looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural, very unflashlight-like way. And these footsteps. Clomp, clomp, clomp. 4 clomps, then a 3 or so second interval, then another 4 clomps. They were sounding in a fixed rhythm. That's no custodian. Nobody walks like that. The fear was back in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I'd accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever it was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it in. I need to hide, but where? I don't know. I hurriedly hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees and curled up and made myself as small as I could. What is this? What's happening? The footsteps continued to draw nearer and nearer. Little by little, the sound grew louder. Every hair on my body was standing on edge. Please, just pass by, please. I held my breath, clasped my hands together, and silently prayed. They were close now. Very, very close. Please, God. Why was this happening? I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was this all happened because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I had heard the ghost story of Yoshie and allowed it to get to me? Or did the strange events of the day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now? It feels like my heart is going to burst out of my chest. I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let out even the tiniest sound escape and give away my position. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. The consistent rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of its cycles. And it had ended right in front of this very classroom. I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped. Well, it's blue. The blue ghost nice? No. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshie? Was the school legend real? All I could do was close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. But the footsteps sounds didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshie, then she stopped in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no concept of time anymore. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably only a few minutes, but felt like at least an hour. Maybe whoever it was is gone. I decided to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just far enough to get a glimpse of the room, when suddenly... The footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were headed right for me, and they might have been inside the room. I honestly couldn't tell. I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. Ooh. This was too much for me. My breathing was coarse and erratic, and my face was a mess of tears and snot. God, please save me. I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth were they doing? It almost seemed like they were running around in circles just to scare me. Stop it. Please stop it. I mouthed these words over and over and moved my hands to my ears in vain attempt to block out this torturous sound. And as if in response, the sound changed. It was a loud, dull thud followed by silence. No more footsteps. I'd heard that sound hundreds of times before. It was a classroom door sliding open. I peeked out, but the door was still tightly shut. How could that be? If the sound I heard wasn't the door, then what was it? The little safety I'd felt there was pretty much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. This prospect of stepping out into the open maybe it was the closet doors. Wasn't a desirable one, but one I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or to make a break for it. Oh shit! Run, bitch. Staying in one place too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out as quickly as I could, but almost immediately I felt something. Oops, bad idea. Something long and thin had struck me in the back of the head. Or perhaps struck isn't the right word. There was little force behind it, but it wasn't a hard slam. More like someone trying to get my attention. Is that a wooden rod? Oh no, it's a finger. I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever it was, so I turned around, and there, looming over me was... Is somebody still here? Go home, child. A figure was peering down at me from above the podium with one emaciated, wishbone-like finger extended toward my face. I recognized this person instantly. No doubt about it, this was the strange old woman who had supposedly passed away earlier. I was scared out of my mind. I tumbled the rest of the way out from under the podium and shot to my feet. The ghost. There really was a ghost in this school. My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my way, I ran as fast as I could toward the classroom door. But that was as far as I could go. What's wrong? There on the other side of the door, tied up against the glass, was the old woman. She was glowing bluish white, and the source of the light from earlier. How in the world did she get to the door before I did? How did she get out of the room so quickly and position herself so perfectly to block my exit? I felt like I was starting to hyperventilate and tried as best I could to calm my breathing as my eyes darted around the room. I need to get out of the room now, to get as far away from this place as I possibly could. If the front door is blocked, maybe I can get out through the back. If I do that, I can't leave the school without running past her. There's no way she'd let me by, but I have to do something. I bit my lip and continued scanning the room. Something. If I just had something I could use to fight back. I didn't have time to think carefully about it. I just had to grab something and hope for the best. There were two choices, and I had to pick up on impulse, because before it was too late. This looks like leftover salt from an old chemistry experiment. I'd heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice. Okay, this is coming with me. I have a bag of salt. Off my arm. I placed the salt in my pocket as a sort of protective charm. I'm scared, but, well, here goes nothing. When I looked at the spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the door frame. Really, she was trying to catch me. I wasn't just being paranoid. She was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced. This had to be Yoshie and the teacher from the urban legend. No, I won't let her get me. Bracing myself, I darted toward the door at the back end of the classroom. There wasn't a moment to lose. If I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all. I threw the door open and just began running at top speed, hoping to escape behind the spirit's back. Unsurprisingly, trying to outrun a ghost proved to be a fruitless endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at breakneck speed to intercept. Stop. Don't come any closer. I thrust my hand in my pocket and threw the bag of salt, and threw the entire thing directly at the old woman's face. Yeah! She recoiled. Now's my chance. I ran down the hall as fast as my legs would carry me, briefly glancing over my shoulder after a moment to confirm that the spirit was still writing. I just kept on running down that dark hallway with nothing but adrenaline and mortal fear to keep me going. I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall and made a mad dash for the ground level. I was determined to get out of this building alive. Stop! Finally, still moving at top speed, I reached the window door leading outside. Almost there. I'm almost out. Luckily, the malevolent spirit hadn't caught up to me yet. It actually seemed like I might be able to escape. I might actually survive this. I made it. I grabbed the handle and tried pulling it. Huh? No, it's not opening. Why is it closed? Please open, I'm begging you. I have to think of something. At this rate, that horrible woman's going to... No, I can't let that happen. But what do I do? What can I do? Break the glass. Hey! Putting my thoughts in order, I came to the sudden realization that I was right near the umbrella rack. Unless the spirit had taken it or something, my umbrella should still have been right there where I'd left it. And here it is. I proudly tackled the rack, grabbing my umbrella in one swift motion, not from the handle, mind you, but from the top. Then, taking aim at the glass part of the door, I swung as hard as I could, cracking it dead center with a sturdy plastic handle. The glass wasn't going to break so easily, of course, but it did crack, giving me the impetus I needed to go in for a second hit. Break, damn you, break! Again and again, I struck the glass. I had the umbrella gripped so tightly that I'm gonna die now. Metal skeleton of the canopy was leaving indentation in my skin. I was sure there had to be a better way to do this, but I didn't have the luxury or time to figure out what I might have been. Stop! You must not leave. She's coming this way. I began smashing the glass even harder, even faster. My hands were killing me, but this was my only hope of survival. Finally, after far too much effort, yes, I did it! The glass shattered onto the floor, making one hell of a sound. Tepid air whooshed in from outside. I was still pouring rain, but I was free now, free to escape this hellhole. Okay. The pane of broken glass was on the lower half of the door, and I didn't care if I cut myself. I got down on the knees and crawled like mad. I did it. I'm almost outside. I can actually escape. I'm safe. I felt triumphant for a brief moment. The fear was gone. I was basking in my victory over the malevolent entity. Huh? But it didn't last long. Before I was even halfway through the door, I felt something coiling itself around my arm. With a start, I looked back. You mustn't go outside. Oh, dear God! A tall, shadowy figure had appeared behind me in the entranceway, and she had me in her grasp. There wasn't much more to her than an indistinct, flickering silhouette, but I could clearly see she had a broken neck. Was this a different apparition? Her scraggly root-like fingers were squeezing my arm with tremendous force, pushing aside muscle and tissue and pressing right onto the bone. No! What are you? Where are you going, my dear? I'll just be a little longer, so won't you please wait for me? That hurts. That really hurts. I was shaking hysterically and tears were streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced that I was going to die here. Let go of me! Sachi. I could offer no resistance. She was too strong. All I could do was plead with her. Stop, please. You're really hurting me. I felt like my arm would snap in two at any moment. Let's be together forever. She wasn't just grabbing but twisting as well. The pain was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. I couldn't think about anything else. My mind was absorbed by unconscionable agony. Shishido! Tsukasa! I thought my arm was about to snap off, and then all of a sudden I was whisked away. Whisked away by Tsukasa. Are you okay? Why, Tsukasa? No time to explain. We have to run. What? Tsukasa was still holding on to me tightly after saving me from the brink of death. He led me back into the school at an incredible speed. Damn it, what the hell was that thing? Please tell me I'm just dreaming. He was probably spit these words out as he continued running. Why is Tsukasa here? I tried to match his gait, and once we were a bit more in sync, I looked up at his face. After we reached the end of the hall, he suddenly veered into the last classroom for the stairwell, pulling me in with him. I don't know. Shishido, you okay? Yep, wrong voice. Wrong fluctuation. I'm fine, I can walk by myself, really. I'm sorry, my bad. I moved away from Tsukasa and almost immediately spilled onto the ground like a house of cards. Well, you sure don't seem okay to me. Maybe not, but I just need a few, Hey, don't push yourself. Tsukasa grabbed my arm to help me up. Unfortunately, it was the arm Yoshie had been twisting. Oh, sorry. Is it your arm that's hurting you, then? Yeah, I don't know how bad it is, but it really stings, like it's on fire. I jerked my other hand over the sore spot where I assumed there was probably one hell of a bruise. I started rubbing gently, but it didn't help at all. That's not good. We should get you to the nurse's office right away, then, and take care of it. But then we'll be exposing ourselves to that ghost again, right? Yeah. Just thinking about going back out there and facing Yoshie made me shudder. I couldn't believe he was even entertaining the idea. Don't worry, even if she does come to get us, I'll keep you safe no matter what, okay? Tsukasa. Tsukasa's gentle reassurance actually made me forget the pain in my arm for a moment. I had to stop myself from blushing, or try to at any rate. We need to treat your injuries as quickly as possible, or they could get worse. The nurse may not be in, but I can at least apply first aid. Okay. Alright, let's go. Tsukasa offered me his hand, and I graciously took it, squeezing it tightly as he led me back into the hallway. Tsukasa's hand, it's so warm. Despite the fact that nothing had really changed, I was still in just as much danger as I had been. Paralyzed fear I'd been feeling was gone. The paralyzed feeling. If it were just me, I would never be able to do this. I would have frozen up, but with Tsukasa leading the way, I felt like I could do anything. Shishido, are you okay to run? Sure. With my blessing, Tsukasa upped his pace significantly. Please don't let her show up. I prayed silently for smooth sailing as I followed Tsukasa's lead. As long as he's with me, I think I'll be okay. I gently squeezed his hand again, as if to reassure myself that he was still with me. I was starting to think maybe Yoshie was gone. Maybe we thwarted her, but of course, just as I was thinking that, she made her presence known again. What the hell was that? Show yourself. An unearthly voice reverberated through the dark corridors. I immediately drew myself into Tsukasa's back. Bring me more. Over Tsukasa's shoulder, I saw the same shadow-like spirit from before. He must have been waiting here to ambush us. It's alright, stay calm. What? The ghost was moaning and wavering before us. We'd never be able to get past it. You'll do anything for me. Hey, Shishido. Yeah? I'm going to draw that thing's attention. While it's distracted, I want you to run. What? No way. We'll run together. I've got a secret weapon. You what? It's a keepsake charm from my grandmother gave me. When I pointed at that thing earlier, it definitely had an effect. A charm. Yeah. But Tsukasa, you'll still be putting yourself right in harm's way. I'll be fine. It'll all work out somehow or another. That's not. Stay where you are. No, stay where you are. We really didn't have time to be arguing. It was closing in fast, and as it did, I noticed the spirit's figure had become more defined. She was a tall, young woman with her head turned sideways at a 90-degree angle. The tale of Yoshie suggests she fell down the flight of stairs, so a broken neck would certainly fit. Go. Run. He gave my back a shove to get me started, and with no time to object, I consciously obliged. Tsukasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few short moments. Hey, ghost lady, over here. Stop. Meh. Tsukasa. Tsukasa ran as close as he possibly could to get Yoshie's attention, then turned tail and began sprinting off in the opposite direction. Come get me, you monster. Amazingly, it worked. The spirit began chasing Tsukasa, leaving me completely unobstructed. Doesn't feel right. Should I really escape without him? I was torn. On one hand, I knew this was my best chance, but I couldn't help worrying about what would happen to Tsukasa if his charm failed. I stopped for a moment and glanced over my shoulder. He was still running, and the shadowy figure was still in hot pursuit. Tsukasa! She's way too close. You need to take out your charm. It's fine. I told you to keep going. Once you're out of harm's way, I'll be right behind you. I promise. I still can't believe I fell for it, but this was right about when I realized the truth. Tsukasa had no protective charm. He just made that up so I wouldn't object too strongly to him serving as decoy while I got away. No, I can't let him go through this. I stopped in my tracks and shouted at the top of my lungs. Yoshie, hold it right there! I wasn't sure exactly what I was getting myself into, but I had to do something, and calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have an effect. That's right, I know your name. Shishida, what are you doing? All at once, the black figure was facing me, though I never saw her turn around. She was flying towards me now, ignoring Tsukasa. I'm not scared, 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 I'm not scared. I repeated this like a mantra and stuck one hand into my pocket, grasping tightly onto the one and only item I'd stashed there. So you know who I am, then. Unlike him, I have a real protective charm. Tsukasa's care, his effort, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil, and when you get right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? I squeezed the nubby little thing in my pocket, mentally preparing myself for the confrontation ahead, the confrontation I'd impulsively initiate. Shishido, you have to run. I won't. I absolutely will not. God, please, please protect me. Closed my eyes, lifted my hand from my pocket, and brandished Tsukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this, and I really, really hoped I hadn't made a mistake in doing so. My name is Yui Shishido, and my goal is to become a teacher here at this school. I opened my eyes to find that the shadowy spirit Yoshie had stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Tsukasa's pencil keeping this vengeful soul at bay? I don't need a replacement. Just die. Suddenly I was whisked off my feet and slammed against the ceiling. Shishido! I could see him down below. He was staring up at me and desperately leaping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose, even though he knew he'd never reach. Tsukasa! I called out to him over and over in my mind. If he could get away, if he could survive this ordeal, then it would all have been worth it. Yoshie was drawing near, and I was helplessly pinned to the ceiling. I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind that my life was over. Owing to the relief I felt at Tsukasa's safety, it was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. Then all at once the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle. Yoshie Shinozaki, stop right there. Before I had an idea what had happened, I found myself bathed in a gentle light. The woman from this morning. I'm sorry I wasn't able to protect you, but now, at least, the evil will spread no farther. It was the old woman who had collapsed in the front of the high house. She was standing down below me, enveloped in a warm glow. The black shadow lunged toward her, and there was a horrific noise. The old woman was gone. Shishido! And just like that, I fell to the ground. Whatever Yoshie had done to me, the old woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she came to me this morning, and why she had come again now. I felt like I was going to faint. Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshie's spirit was gone. She'd vanished along with the light and around us. Around us now, the only sound was the pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof. Hey, Shishido! Tsukasa. I suffered quite a bump on the head from the fall and was decidedly disoriented, but I still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck. You idiot, didn't I tell you to run away? I'm sorry, it's just... I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you, is what I wanted to say. But instead, I just passed out in his arms. I survived! I felt as though I was waking from a long, horrible dream. Hey, are you okay? Shishido? Where are we? Man, how hard of a fall was that? We're in the nurse's office, can't you tell? The nurse's office? Occurred to me to look at my surroundings, probably something I should have done before asking about them, but in my defense, I was out cold. Beige walls, pink curtains, and white beds with solid blue covers. This was indeed a school infirmary, no doubt about it. Why are you... Better question is why you're here. I found you passed out on the ground out there, so I carried you in. Out where exactly? Jeez, did you get a concussion or something? It was right by the school gate. The school gate? That's where you found me? Uh-huh. Ring any bells? But I was trapped inside the school and running from Yoshie, wasn't I? Oh, that's right, my arm. It's probably broken. Wait, my arm's okay. Huh? Your arm? Was it a dream? No, it couldn't have been. I mean, it really hurt, and I really thought I was going to die. Well, you're still a little out of sorts, but I'm glad you're safe at any rate. Guess you could say I had a gut feeling, maybe. I just got concerned and stopped by your house, and your mom told me you'd gone back to school, so I came to find you, and well, I found you. Tsukasa, yes, there'll be time to thanks and such later on. Right now, there's something I've got to do, so hang on a sec. Okay. Where are you going, Tsukasa? I wanted to ask you about Yoshie. Shishido, glad to see you're awake. Ma'am. You gave us both quite a scare. Mikuni was pale as a ghost when he came to get me. Lucky for you, I was working late tonight. I'm so sorry to have troubled you. It's fine, of course, but you were really moaning in your sleep. Were you having nightmares? Nightmares. It seemed like you were, Mikuni. Mikuni was worried sick about you. So it really was just a nightmare then. Maybe that scary story this afternoon was just too much for me. Are you feeling a little better now, at least? Yeah, that's good. The nurse smiled cheerfully and disappeared behind the partition curtain. Letting out a sigh, I laid myself down on the bed once more. It was dead silent. The rain must have let up. The only sound I heard was an occasional cough from the nurse, who was otherwise going about her business quietly. Oh, wait. What about the pen case? I tossed my hands in my pockets, not really expecting to find it, but there it is. The pen case, complete with Tsukasa's pencil talisman inside, was present and accounted for. Which meant that I made it to my classroom. Maybe it wasn't a dream after all. Hey. Oh, Tsukasa, welcome back. I was still trying to remember what exact details about what happened when I unexpectedly felt something cold pressed against my cheek. What are you... You were sleeping pretty restlessly, and sweating an awful lot, so I figured you might be thirsty. Here, it's a cafe a lot. Thank you. Tsukasa went out of his way to buy this for me. It was a lovely gesture, how could I possibly refuse? Hey, isn't tomorrow, or I guess it's today now, but either way, don't you have an entrance exam to take? What time does it start? At 9? So in 4 hours, then. God, I don't even want to think about that right now, not after the day I just had. He went to the vending machine. I had been put through hell on earth. Taking a test was the furthest thing from my mind. I was in tears and had no idea why. Maybe it was because I was so relieved, so glad to be alive. So maybe what actually happened was she got through the door, got to the gate, and that's where she passed out. And the rest of it was just made up. Okay. Hey, Shishido, can you stand? Huh? The timing's just right, so I'm going to show you something good. Something good? Yeah. Or rather, it's something I really want you to see, if you're up for it. Penis? No. Sure, I guess. My nose was still running, but my heart felt a lot lighter. I no longer felt threatened by the school. I was comfortable and safe. The two of us left the nurse's office, with Gus in the lead, and even though I was holding a cold cod in my hand, I still felt warm all over. Neither of us said a thing as he led me through the empty hallways. It occurred to me that when we last saw one another, I was mad at him. Look, Shishido, we're here. What, isn't this just the walkway between the buildings? Just wait, you'll see in a minute. See what? I had no idea what I was looking for. I just kept staring at him, but his eyes were fixed at the window leading out into the walkway. As I gazed upon him in prova, I felt my heart skip a beat. I have to apologize for what happened yesterday, but I just wasn't sure what to say. I let my feelings get the better of me, and reprimanded him for behavior that was just what that was, at least at the time, entirely reasonable. There was more to it than that, though. There was one particular reason, more than any other, that made it hard for me to think of the words to say. He and I had run from Yoshie together. We escaped her wrath against unsurmountable odds. And what if that wasn't all just a dream? Bingo, here we go. Huh? I followed Tsukasa's pointing finger end. Oh, that's beautiful. What an absolutely stunning sunrise. Aren't they cute? It's actually the sunset I enjoy watching most from here, but the sunrise is pretty great too. Oh, it's actually the sunset I enjoy watching the most from here, but the sunrise is pretty great too. It's gorgeous. The whole town is painted orange. Looks like you're back in good spirits again. This is the place that you were talking about, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. You've been keeping this spot from me all this time, so why now? Why are you showing it to me today? No reason, really. No reason, huh? I could think of a reason, but it didn't say anything. It just seemed kind of far-fetched to me, and if I were misinterpreting him, I'd be very embarrassed. He couldn't possibly, could he? My face felt kind of warm. I placed my sweaty cafe a lot can on my cheek. Why is your... Oh, you mean condensation, not sweaty. And sighed softly. You feeling okay? Your face is really red. What? It is? You aren't still feeling faint, are you? No, nothing like that. It's just, yeah. It's the sun, just the way the light's playing off my skin, that's all. Oh, okay. Boys can be so dense sometimes. Good luck on the exam, by the way. If you head back now and get ready, you should still be able to make it. Thank you. That's what I like about you, Tsukasa. Huh? Also, I'm sorry. For what? It's just that yesterday things might have seemed a little awkward between us after talking about the school legend, remember? Oh yeah, I think I remember something like that. What do you mean, something like that? I was really bothered by it, you know. Yeah, you girls obsess over the littlest things sometimes. Me, I didn't think anything of it. Really now. I let out another sigh and turned back towards the morning sun, stretching my arms skyward as a sudden wave of exhaustion overcame me. The day got brighter, bit by bit, and I just stood there silently trying to piece together all the jumbled thoughts rattling around in my head. I was running away from Yoshie, and Tsukasa was with me. Then I was saved by that old woman. It really was just a dream, huh? As the bright rays of the sun washed over me, I felt new life and new hope welling up from within, and I finally came to terms with those horrible events. Most likely I got the pen case without incident, but then on my way back something hit my head and knocked me out. That would be just my luck. Oh hey, Shishido, don't move. Huh? Stay right there, just like that. I didn't know what he was planning to do, but he was staring at me, staring right at me. It felt kind of like he was staring into my soul. And then, what? Slowly Tsukasa drew his face toward mine. Is he? Shishido. No, wait, is he really going to? I shut my eyes. I was ready for this. Or maybe I didn't want to look. But the next sensation I felt wasn't quite the one I was expecting. Shishido, what happened here? Huh? He grabbed my arm for some reason and was staring down at it intently. What the hell? What is he doing? Whoa, what is that? Seriously, I had no idea that was there. Turns out he was just concerned by the strange bruise I had apparently received, which had momentarily become visible when I raised my arms. It was right around my elbow, right where Yoshie had grabbed me in my dream. Looks like it hurt. It doesn't hurt at all, actually, but what? Never mind, it's nothing. Giving a wry smile, I gently pulled my arms from his grip. Hey, Tsukasa? Yeah? Before we go, I have a favor to ask you. What is it? Would you mind if we held hands? Held hands? Yeah, just for a little. Or is that asking too much? When he asked why I wanted to do this, I fed him his own line. I just told him, no reason. We only joined fingertips, but for the first time, it really felt like I was connected to another person's heart. I remember feeling so happy. Aww. Hey, Miss Yui? Miss Yui. Tsukasa. Hey, Miss Yui, please. I knew I had heard that voice before, but who was it? Was I just dreaming again? I still felt like I was holding Tsukasa's hand, though. Miss Yui, your hand! Your hand! What? Good, you're awake. What, Mochida? That's right, it's Satoshi Mochida. I was still dazed. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that one of my students, Satoshi Mochida, was there, and he looked concerned. Miss Yui, your hand. What? Oh my. I finally realized what he was talking about. I was holding Mochida's hand in my own, and squeezing it awfully tightly. Excuse me, please. I'm so sorry. It's no problem. Though I have to say you have a really strong grip, Miss Yui. Do I now? In the past I was renowned far and wide for being weak and dainty young beauty, you know? How exactly do I respond to that? Well, you could say something nice. Mochida was a good student. He and I got along well. And we were already falling back into our usual pattern of good-natured ribbing. Except... Wait a minute. Why are you here, Mochida? I know. Her arm. Well, that's... I told you earlier, didn't I? I guess I shouldn't be surprised you don't remember anything. What am I supposed to remember exactly? A little while ago you ate some porridge I made and took medicine before passing out again. I told you everything then. You did? Have you seriously forgotten all of that? Completely. Don't laugh, jeez. Mochida sighed and pointed at the table. Class notes from Mr. Yamazaki. Wait, did you come all this way just to deliver these? Yeah, and when I did, you were in a pretty bad way, so I made you some porridge. Oh, but don't worry, I had permission. Monette said I could borrow your kitchen. Monette did he? I stroked Monette's neck, and he lied down contently on my futon. Such a pretty kitty. I was getting kind of wrapped up in petting him, as I often did. I almost forgot Mochida was there, until he let out a huge sigh. Also, Miss Yui, leaving your front door unlocked is really dangerous. Oh, was it open? Yeah, and you're lucky I was the one to discover that. You really need to be more careful. Duly noted, thanks. Did I say something funny? No, you just sound like my mother. Yikes, I don't think I like the implications there. I didn't mean to laugh. I must have seemed kind of deranged, but I could always blame it on the fever. Mochida looked at me and let out another sigh. My poor sense of humor must have been getting to him. Well, you sure seem a lot better now than you were when I got here, so that's something. I feel better too. You slept like a rock, Miss Yui. That's right, I woke up this morning feeling dizzy and chilled. I called in sick, put on food for Monette, and I don't remember a thing after that. Oh, you don't remember going to the convenience store? The convenience store? Yeah, I found a cold packs and snacks. Let's see. Here, look, the time on their seat, it was this morning. Wow, you're right. How can you possibly not remember going to the store? Amazing that's that. Amazing, that's just seriously, you need to pull yourself together. You didn't go out in your pajamas or anything, did you? Well, I don't think I did. I wouldn't be surprised. Don't try and hide behind that laugh. Sorry. You're taking care of me this whole time, Mochita. Uh-huh. Well, I'm really sorry you had to stay this late. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't believe Mochita had been with me this whole time. I felt both guilty and grateful, and I definitely gained a new respect for him. There's still a little porridge left if you get hungry. Thanks. And I bought these too. And you went to the supermarket? There wasn't anything in the fridge when I checked, so I figured I might as well. Ah. The bag was quite heavy. Inside it was a bottle of orange juice, some bananas, canned peaches, apples, and other assorted fruits. That's vitamins. When you're as sick as you were, your body needs all the help it can get to fight back. Think of it like medicine. Mochita. How much fruit couldn't have come cheap? I was gonna say fruit's expensive in Japan. I considered offering to pay him back, but decided against it. I knew he wouldn't take my money, and besides, I really appreciated the fact that he'd gone to all this trouble for me. I'd return the favor another time. If it ever seemed like he was going to be staying late after school, maybe I'd buy him dinner. Or I could help him with preparations for the school festival. Well, it's getting late. I should go. Oh, will you be okay? Do you know your way back? If you'd like, I can take you at least part of the way. It's fine. Just go back to sleep, Miss Yui. You're not better just yet, and besides, it isn't safe for a woman to walk alone at night. Ah, you're such a sweetie. Seeing how much you care just makes my heart skip a beat. Oh, does it now? I'm not sure you should be saying something like that to me, Miss Yui. Huh? Why not? Mochita and I joked like this a lot. Usually it made him blush and get adorably embarrassed. But not today. Today he just grinned sheepishly with a mischievous glint in an eye. I didn't quite get it. What was his angle? Who's Tsukasa, Miss Yui? Is he your boyfriend? How do you... You kept calling his name in your sleep. Tsukasa, you cried, lost in some sort of wonderful dream. What? So who is he? Crafty Mochita had turned the tables on me, and how embarrassing to know that I'd been calling Tsukasa's name. Well, I hesitated to answer for a moment, but then figured, well, what the hell, why not? Tsukasa was my first love. Oh. Judging by your actions earlier, you must have seriously been head over heels for him. What? Why? Well, when I got here, you thought I was Tsukasa. It was unbelievable. Wait, what are you saying? Let me see what your face is beat red. That's just my fever, I swear. Well, that's fine. I'll let you believe whatever you want to believe. Oh, come on. Whatever happened to respecting your elders? You shouldn't mess with adults. But you're in a rare form today. We never get to see you like this. I wasn't sure he was ever going to give me the full story of all the embarrassing things I'd done in my fevered days, and maybe it was better he didn't. Either way, I was in this debt so he could tease me all he wanted just this once. Oh crap, I have to get going. Yuka's going to be really angry with me. Thanks for everything. It's dark out, so please be careful on your way home. No worries. And Miss Yui, you be sure to eat right and get better ASAP, you hear me? Of course, I'll kick this in no time. Fight the good fight. Thanks. What a good kid, that Mochita. I'd better be careful, though. He is my student, after all. Come here, Monette. You sleep with Mommy tonight. I miss you, Tsukasa. Chronicle of the Past. Kaiko. Alright, that was good. That was touching and a little... Honestly, it was kind of creepy, too. I enjoyed how they did the in-school scene. Okay, so what I'm going to do now... Oh, we got the Fever Dreams achievement. Woohoo! I'm going to go check on the food I'm making, which won't be anywhere near done, but I'm going to check on it and maybe flip the meat. And I'm going to respond to some messages, and then I think I'll be back and we'll start into the next one, because at this point, why not? I have time. I don't have to go to work till 7, it's only 1:30. So, decent. Or not if I change my mind. You never know with me.